Do you need help, Andrew?
Yeah, that was like.
You take one.
Is that a toe tapper?
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, do you want to start playing another song?
Yes, 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 I do.
Next tray. Next tray.
It's,
I just have to say, you never know what Dottie and I are gonna do before we do it.
right.
And this,
Whoa, hit it.
that song was about love that we did, and then this song, I mean, we sang.
Janet, Reverend Janet Childs, this is a spiritualist church.
Little psychic here.
When you have a bunch of psychic people gathered together, you're never quite sure what's going to happen. Well, I know what's going to happen next.
Okay, go.
I have a wonderful, wonderful person in my life that I met years ago. And Reverend B.J. King, you are one of the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most loving person I've ever met. And I know Janet Childs. So loving, nice, wonderful people.
Hello.
And the thing is, we met, I was a member of the Sons of Mine Church, and we met each other. And it was one of those things that, hi there, I think I know you for maybe another life,
Okay, that's okay.
maybe another time, but maybe just because you glow and you shine. Maybe that's why I know you right now. And PJ is not only a good speaker, but she's one of those people, if you don't know it already, gives excellent hugs.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
she does.
So she is one of those beings that isn't afraid to express her love and her energy and her life and love of being a child of God. Please, Reverend, please, I would like you to put your hands together. not stay on tomb, I don't stay on tomb. But I love joining in. I've been known to throw off an entire group. BJ did a really good job of staying on beat.
And she tells
Yeah.
Just pull it. Just pull it out. Atta girl.
So good morning, everybody.
Good morning, BJ.
Do you know why I chose that song?
To,
Because you're happy?
Because I want happy people.
yeah, hallelujah.
I want happy people around me. I don't want people with long faces and like the world is coming to an end. No.
Hey, you know if the world's coming to the end, we should be happy because that means we're going to the Lord, right?
All right.
Bring it on down.
Bring it on down.
Woohoo!
So how's everybody doing?
Yay! Woo!
All right.
Happy.
Yes, happy. Because we have a lot to be grateful for.
Amen.
Yes, we do.
Because we're here.
Yes.
Because we're in a family, we're in a community that love each other.
Yes.
It's been here a long time. Corky and I met, how many years ago?
Oh, 30,
Plus.
yeah.
We worked together at HP.
Yeah.
And we had a ball.
We did. It was
We
good.
had a ball. It was so much fun.
You were my practitioner at First Church.
That's right. That's right. So I'm practitioner emeritus now for 30 years
Wow.
in August.
Wow.
It's a tough journey, trust me. I just kept praying, let me get through my first 20 years and get that emeritus status, and then
You went through a lot of pastors too, didn't you?
I did. We went through about 6. So,
6 at least.
yeah, so it's been a great journey, and this is what I love to do. I love to pass the message, because there's so much going on in the world right now that we need all the encouragement and the strength and the love and the help that we can muster, because we have to be strong. We have to be strong, and I love the song that you sang, we are love, I am love. The whole world is love, but we've got to know it, we've got to feel it,
Yes.
and then we've got to give it away.
Yes.
We've got to give it away.
Yes.
So it's diversity and spirituality is my talk. God is up to something,
Yes, she is.
or the devil wouldn't be fighting you so hard.
Ooh. Amen to that.
We're gonna win.
Yeah!
We're gonna win.
Speak it, sister.
I saw that the other day, just fumbling through looking for affirmations and whatever you look for. And then the thought came to me, our children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews hear every word we say, and they watch everything that we do. And it's our responsibility to make sure they hear the right words and they see the right actions. And those right actions are smiles on your face, a twinkle in your eye, and love coming from your heart. And that beam of light flowing around you everywhere you go. I went to DMV yesterday.
What were you practicing?
I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the new and out on Center
Center
Road,
Road for driver's
which
license.
is perfect
Yes.
because it's big and they have it. You just move right through.
Only do licenses.
No, they do a little bit of everything.
Really?
They do.
Change.
I had to get a handicap placard because mine expired and they sent me one before I moved and they took it back. So I had to go, they do that, they do everything. Just go check it out.
Okay. I used to say just like.
And everybody's standing in line at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nobody likes being in line at 8
Or they're on their phone.
I said, good morning. And I smiled and they started looking up, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Awesome.
That's what we gotta do, just say good morning.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
You're a happiness warrior.
Yes!
Yeah, you're a happiness warrior.
Yes, exactly. Because you know what? I found where I used to live in Willow Glen, and there's a Safeway there.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of seniors around there. And I would see them walking like this. And I'd say, good morning, and I would smile. And they'd look up and they'd say, good morning. And they'd pick up that pace and just walk like they're really happy and excited. For all I know, I'm the only person that might have said good morning and smiled at them. And that's our job. That's our job, is to smile and make people happy. Let them know that we see them, and that they are being seen. So there's been a lot going on in the world that I don't even have to tell you. And right now, I just want us to hold a space for Hurricane Dorian to make that turn and go back out to the ocean and not go to land. So just hold that space, please.
And let us hold it for the Bahamian people right now.
Absolutely.
And the people of Odessa.
And the people of everywhere, the people of Odessa. I mean, we could spend 2 hours just talking about. But just remember, when you hear things on the news, which I do not listen to, but when you hear things, go to that place where you are blessing them and wanting the highest and greatest good for them. Because we're all in this together. I don't care where you came from. I don't care who your parents were. I don't care what country you came from. I don't care what color you are. We're all one. We're all the same. We're human beings. And we have been brought here for a purpose. And our purpose is to love. And our purpose is to give back. And our purpose is to be happy. That's why I wanted that song. My great aunt is 104 years old. Her name is Elise Martin.
Elise Martin.
That's her favorite song. And it's because she said, I'm happy because I've got a roof over my head, I've got my family, I've got everything that I need. And she is busy all the time. So that's why I wanted to play that, just to remind you to be busy. We need to work together in harmony so that we can create this world that works for everyone. So that we're not talking about putting people away, sending them away, doing horrible things. We want to be happy so that we can grow this world again. It used to be like that when I was a little girl. People were happy, they were loving, they were kind to each other. If you lived on a block and you did something wrong, your family knew about it before you could get to the door. Okay? And we've stopped that. We don't correct children. We don't ask them to be nice and kind. Because we're not being nice and kind, so they're just doing what we do. So we want that world to work for everyone. I believe we can do it. Do you?
Yes.
I believe we can do it. Do you?
Yes.
All right, that's what I thought. And it's up to each one of us now. It's up to each one of us. As we sit in these seats today, just think about how blessed you are. Think about the gratitude. Because we forget that. And we just take things for granted sometimes, and we just say, well, it's just another day.
No.
I'm very glad it's another day because I can get up and I can do things that make me happy. I lost my mother, no, I didn't lose her, she just decided to leave. Last month. She was 98.
Oh, bless her.
Whoa, hello.
So I figure I've got a pretty good shot at 100.
Yes, you do.
Good genes.
But we start within. We've got to clean up all of the stuff that we've got in here that no longer works for us. That's the thoughts, the attitudes, the frustration, the anger. We've got to let that go.
The shadow.
The shadow, whatever you want to call it, we've got to let it go. And then the reason that we've got to let it go is because this world is made up of so many people that we work with, for all of those who are still working, that we see on the street. Get rid of the judgments and the attitudes. How can you hate me when you don't even know me? How can you do that? Get to know people, sit down and talk to them. I talk to everybody. Because you find out fascinating things that you didn't even know, which lets go of the assumptions that you've been making because of the news. And have you noticed that when you listen to the news, the worst stories are always the first things you hear, and anything good is the last 2 seconds just before it shuts off. So that I don't listen to the news. I don't do that. I don't read the newspaper. Because I knew how it began to make me feel inside, and I was not happy with that. It made me angry, and it made me frustrated about things that I have no control over. If I'm going to get angry, it's going to be about something I have control over.
Choices you make.
And it's choices. It's always choices. So once we can clean up this inside of us, then we can let it out. We can let our light shine. We can watch people smile. We can watch them stand up straight and walk with a purpose. We can watch them forgive themselves and forgive their families and anybody else. That's one of the big cleanups in here, is forgive ourselves. We're always doing the very best we can. And when we know better, what do? We do better, absolutely, absolutely. So we have a big job, and it's all in here. It's not out there, it's all in here. And once we can clean this up and release it, then we can pass it on. And we can love ourselves more, and we can love others. Is any of this making sense?
Yes.
It's making perfect sense.
I just, because, it's just me talking, so I just want to make sure.
Well, we're just listening.
Okay, all right, all right. In the Bible it says, love ourselves. We've stopped loving ourselves. We don't even like ourselves anymore. What do you look at when you get up and you look in the mirror? What's the first thought?
What a sexy bride.
I love
Well, that's Dottie's.
Dottie's got it. Dottie's got it.
I've learned
Oh.
to look in the mirror and say, good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, handsome. Yeah, and smile. Because you know what my secret is? I can't tell you how old I am, but I'm that old. I'm just a few years younger than Dottie. But I don't have wrinkles. And everybody says, well, you don't have wrinkles. I said, no, because I smile. And what I found out is the muscles that we use to smile get rid of the wrinkles. And it's not too late to start. It's not too late to start. It's not too late to start. But the diversity in this country is awesome. I love going to Whole Foods or anywhere else and listening to all the languages. And sometimes if I feel that they're approachable, I'll ask them, where are you from? How long have you been here? What do you do? And people will stop and talk to you. Anywhere where I've worked, I always get to know the people around me. Because when I can get to know them and they can get to know me, then we can begin to trust each other. And when we begin to trust each other, then we begin to be safe. And when we're safe, we're relaxed. And then we have fun. Corky can tell you, we used to have a blast.
I bet we would again.
And we will again, and we will. We can recreate whatever it is that we want. Love ourselves first so that we can learn to love everybody else. In Ephesians 4, it says, and I thought this was really interesting, you took off your former way of life. This is when we clean up the inside. You took off your former way of life, the old self, that is corrupted by deceitful desires. Ooh. You are being renewed. In the spirit of your minds, you put on the new self, the one created according to God's likeness, in righteousness and purity in truth. That's why we come to places like here, because it's a reminder of who we are, because Going through the week, we forget. We get too busy. Henry David Thoreau says it's never too late to give up your prejudices.
Yeah.
It's never too late. And I know so many of us have heard parents and grandparents talking about people growing up. And some people are still hanging on to those stories. We're adults now. We can think for ourselves. We can let go of the old messages.
There it is then.
That's it. That's it. Let go of the old messages. And think for yourself. Don't believe everything you hear on TV or read. Now you know that already.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Because most of it is made up and it's just to keep people uptight and angry and frustrated. Let that stuff go. And people say to me, well, what if something happens? I said, I have enough friends that are going to call and say, BJ, this happened, and do you have enough food? Do you have enough water? This is what's happened. I don't have to listen to every little thing. I know people who listen to Fox News 24 hours a day. Who?
Yeah, BJ, one of the best bumper stickers I ever saw was, don't believe everything you think.
Don't believe everything you think, and then you don't have to say everything you think either.
Thank you.
You don't have to do that. Remember who we are. We are God's children. Our diverse world has changed so much, and again, it is so wonderful. Train up a child in the way they shall grow. That's our responsibility for young people because they're confused. They're confused and they don't have people to turn to so often. So we have a big responsibility. We're the parents of the country. We're the parents of the world. And it's our opportunity, I think, to teach good lessons and to demonstrate the good.
Yep.
Treat each other as you wish to be treated. Now, we've been hearing this all our lives, but do we do it?
Yes.
We try.
Sometimes we try.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop trying and we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. God is good all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
All you got to do is get in touch. Because He is there all the time and she is waiting right there for you to recognize that there's one life, that life is God's life, and that life is our life. And all of our hopes and dreams can come true when we let go of what we don't want and just love ourselves and love one another. Be the peace we want to see in the world. We keep hearing that over and over. And so often when we're driving away from church and somebody cuts us off,
We say bless you very much.
Bless you, bless you.
and the third finger is not the blessing. I just wanted to say, we just bless them. We can give them the peace sign. That's right.
That's the same thing in England.
Well, no, only if it's turned around this way.
If you turn it around, yeah.
Take it from someone that lived in England.
Maya Angelou says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude.
Right.
Change your attitude. Diversity is a great gift. And I believe because we are seeing other people, we are learning more and more about how we can do better. We can watch them. So many people have come to this country from other countries with wonderful ideas and technologies in medicine and electronics and so much more than we haven't even thought of. So we need to get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuitry and get rid of our ego. That we are the only ones that know anything. Yeah, that's a laugh, you're right. That's right. So that's why diversity is so important. Again, get to know people. How many of you really know each other in this church? In this center? Because there have been so many funerals that I have done for complete strangers. But I go and talk to the family. I find out about them. And I do the service, and people come up to me who've said I've known him for 20 years, I didn't know any of that. Did you sit down and talk to him or her? Get to know people, talk to people. Find out who they are. They are fascinating stories. That's why I love my great aunt. She's moved from South Carolina to Palo Alto. And when I go over and spend time with her, we just have a ball. Because I used to visit there and my great-grandparents every summer. And she'd take me places and we would do things or just spend time together. And I just adore her. And her daughter says, well, I guess I can leave the house now because I know I'm not wanted. And we just have a great, great time. And you can do that. Call somebody that you've not talked to for a long time. And just say, hi, I was thinking about you. You don't know how much of a difference that can make in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Love is within us. We have to use it. We get rid of the anger and the hate because it's poisonous and we don't know where it's going to end up. And my theory, and I may hear some flashback, but my theory about a lot of cancers, I'm not saying all, but a lot of cancers is we've got so much stuff down inside and we've not let it go. And it's got to go somewhere. Because the doctors have already said we do have at least one cancer gene in every body. So you don't want to build that. You want to let it go. You want to do what the song says. Be happy. Just be happy. Some mornings I'm getting dressed to go to work, which is rarely. But some mornings I will play the song on my computer as I'm getting dressed. And I feel light years better. I feel happy. I'm excited that I'm going to go be with some more different people. And this happens a lot. Our greatest gift, I believe, is that we have been given an outstanding gift, and that's our brain. Use it or lose it. Think before we do things. If somebody really gets on that last nerve, and I know we always have somebody who does that, stop. Take a breath. Think. Let go. And let it go. How many of you have people who are, all they talk about is fear, anger, hate, and all that stuff? Get away from them. Get away from them. When I started going to religious science, and I had finally understood that God's within and not up on the cloud taking notes. Because I knew as a teenager in the Methodist church I grew up, that God had the big book. Sitting on the cloud with the big pin with the feather and taking notes of everything you did. And when I got a little older, I said, well, I'm going to hell anyhow, so it's okay. But then I got to religious science and I found out God is in here.
Yes.
God is always in here.
Yes.
And God is always hovering over us. We are never alone. We are never alone in that gift of the brain. Use it to think. Use your imagination. We've stopped dreaming. We've stopped imagining of how we want our world to look. And we can create it.
Yes.
Because when we speak those words of what we want, God's already at work taking care of it out there. God's already at work. God hears every word we say. Do we really want her to hear some of the words we think?
Well, no.
I hope not. Spirituality. We've got to get back to doing what we know to do right.
Yeah.
We've just got to get back to that. And when you leave here on Sunday, don't wait to the next Sunday to put into effect what you heard here. Use it every day. Read your whatever book you want. I read my Science of Mind and my Daily Word. I'm working on doing it every morning now. When my mother passed away, it just kind of shifted me. and then I had a fall, which cut my eye there. And then I developed pneumonia.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, okay,
A lot of grief caused.
a lot of grief, yeah. And I said, okay, God, that's 3 now, we're done. We're done. And something just snapped recently. And I'm back in gear now, and I'm back doing my reading and doing my writing in my journal. How many of you journal? Okay, journal. Pick up your journal. Just make a few notes. Doesn't have to be War and Peace. If you just write in there, I'm happy today. I'm grateful for whatever it is. Get back to the spiritual part of our life. And when we do that, then we can sing a song, I love myself so much, so I can love you so much. And when we can do that, it's a Ricky Byers-Beckwith song. When we can do that, our lives will change. And the world around us will change. And put a smile on your face. Just be happy. Be grateful. Be filled with joy. And the world is going to change. Change is the only thing that we absolutely know that is always going to happen. And we can't do anything to stop it. So we got to get into the groove. Just like you got up and danced, we got to get into the groove of happy. And just go with the flow. Because we can't stop the change. We can just make it better in our lives and in everyone else's lives. The other things that we can do, again, is get away from negative, fearful people. When I started going to religious science, there were so many people around me and everybody was negative. Everything was negative. Nothing was going right. And this is over 40 years ago. And once I started going there, I said, I don't need to be with those people. They're not making me happy. And I lost a lot of friendships, but what I gained was a lot of love and compassion and joy in my life. And it doesn't matter if it's family or friends or spouses or whatever. You got to take care of you, and you've got to be happy. And you've got to be filled with that love of God. And the more that you can do it, the better your life is going to be. And the more you can spread it around. Like you came here and you didn't even know where you were going. And this is where your grandmother was. There are no coincidences, folks. There are no coincidences. Try something new. Do something different. Go somewhere different. Don't just do the same old things, because it's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring. Oh. Maya Angelou says also, it is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is a beauty and there is a strength. We are strong people. We are healthy people. We are as healthy as we make up our minds to be, you know. It's all up to us.
Yep.
Read, read, read. Just don't read one type of book. Read different books by various authors so that you develop different styles. Says R.L. Stein. Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. There's only one of us here, but we are so different. And we have such wonderful gifts within to share. Don't leave this earth without sharing your gifts. And if we can't end now our differences, at least we can help make the world safe in diversity. That's what John F. Kennedy says. One more thing. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free. There is no male and female, for you all are one in Christ. That's all I have to say. I have some flyers back there if you'd like to take them with some of my notes on there. But all I ask is, stay in faith, don't give up. Pray, meditate, sing, dance, Be happy, put a smile on your face, let the joy come out, let your light shine, and the light from everyone else will shine back to you. Thank you.
Big choir.
While the choir is getting ready to do something different, come to meditation tomorrow night. I know it's a
Oh, yeah.
holiday,
I
but
did.
there's